Yo, that's what YouTube tells me. That my viewers, the breakdown of my viewers in relation to men versus women. And so I've had men to respond, and I think that I've probably injured their narcissism or their ego, shall I say. Because obviously in everyone's mind, we have like this concept, men and women. I think for men is much stronger though. They have this self-concept to think of themselves as better than what they actually are. Better in all sense of the word, right? Like they think of themselves much more highly, right? And then they have these encounters where it's like a reality check, right? They're brought back down to reality, to earth, and they're grounded, and they see that it's not what they thought. And so some of these men, have become obsessed with wondering and being concerned about, what do other women think? Is 4 inches too small? Is 5 inches too small? How big is a good size? Like, these are questions that have been directly asked and posed in the comment section of my videos. And I'm like a bit repulsed, a bit annoyed, but I took it upon myself in one of my videos. Actually, I was sitting in my recliner chair over there. I remember, and I pulled out a tape measure. I don't think I'm going to pull out, or maybe I will pull out. Maybe I will pull out a tape measure. Hold on. But I pulled out a tape measure in my previous video. To actually demonstrate what 4 inches looks like, because there are men who feel a certain kind of way because they only have 4 inches. And I say, wait, let's see. How big is 4 inches? And it turns out this is 4 inches. And I put it up against my face. Now, up against my face, it looks probably kind of small. I think I do have like a long face in proportion to my height. It makes sense that I have a long face. I don't know what is happening with my video here. But I'm hoping that we are in sync. So this is actually 4 inches. And I'm just like, I mean, it doesn't seem all that small. But average, they say, is around about between 7 to 8 inches. And I'm like, okay, this is 7. This is pretty big, okay? And this is supposed to be average. And that's 7 inches. And this is 8 inches. This is huge. Like, who really has an 8, yo? I think men be exaggerating. They be like, oh, 8 inches, 9. Yeah, they be exaggerating. Ain't nobody, come on, yo. Now, there are some men, but I think it's rare. The majority of men, I think, fall between 5 and 6 inches. What do you guys think? Comment in the comment section. What do you think is average? I think it's 5 to 6 inches. This is 5 inches. I think this is average. Let's say 5.5. Right there in the middle. I think that's about average for most men. But in this alternate reality, when alternate reality I experienced, it was about this. This is like 11 inches here. It was this. I kid you not. And the girth. Oh my gosh. The girth was so thick. It was a decent sized pickle, I would say. That was like the girth of a pickle, right? A decent thick pickle. That was the girth. And the length was about 11 inches. I would say no short of 11 inches in this alternate reality that I experienced. I dream a lot. I would say every time I fall asleep, I dream. That's a privilege I think I have, like for me, to be able to experience my eyes. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening, but my first, apparently, Facebook does not want me to get this message out here, but it's going to get out. Even if I have to come back, it's going to get out, okay? My video keeps getting interrupted, apparently. But yeah, it's amazing. I think it's just a wonderful experience to be able to, like, be placed in a different realm, in a different dimension, even while I am asleep. And sometimes my dreams are lucid, where I am very much aware that I'm dreaming. I'm in control of my dreams. It's just like, I'm loving it, yo. I'm riding the wave. And then other dreams, I'm not aware, right? Both dreams I love, actually. Yeah, because I usually have good dreams. I very seldomly have nightmares, thankfully. I used to, though. That was a thing of much of the past, I would say, when I was growing up as a little girl. But as an adult, thankfully, I feel so grateful that I have been having these very great, these mesmerizing dreams that I wake up from, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Fiction is better than reality, right? I mean, they say the dream world isn't real, but I'm like, I don't know about that. I think it might be real. So I'm in this alternate reality, and I'm with this very tall man. We were dating. He was dark skinned. He was giving like basketball player vibes. Like 6'4", 6'5". Like, dude was tall, probably taller than that. And I've dated that tall. I'm gonna give an example. Of that person. But in this alternate reality, this person, he was like 6 foot, between 6'4", 6'5", or 6, right? And his physique, it was just perfect, right? Just immaculate. And we had gotten into this role reversal where I was the dominant one. And I don't think he wanted to be submissive. Like, he didn't exchange roles with me necessarily. It's like I had taken power over him, right? I had taken control over him in this alternate reality, and I was able to tie him up. You know how hard it is to tie a person who is refusing to be tied up, to tie them up, right? So I was successful at being able to tie him up after like several attempts because he was resisting. Somehow I got the strength and the power to do it, the skill to do it. And I got him tied up despite his resistance, his arms, his wrists, and he couldn't move. But then I turned my back and he got out of it. He grabbed me. Then he just rolled me, right? And it keeps saying trying to connect, but we're here, right? And so he just rolled me, and it's not that I was resisting. I think I was a bit alarmed. I don't think I was ready at all for this, right? So I was placed on top of him, and he's fully unclothed. And I'm like, whoa, I kid you not, the size of his manhood. I just showed you. You're talking about 11 inches, and it was fully erect. All right? Just standing salute. Okay? Salute. And he placed me on top of him. He was gentle at first. And then, I think sex is so amazing, like the way our bodies are designed, because it's like, it was a perfect match for when I initially was like placed on top of him, right? And he took it slow, like slowly easing my vulva around his manhood, right? I'm trying to be PC here. And obviously Facebook and YouTube friendly. And then, slowly I was sliding. I was sliding slowly down this pole. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because like this, the more you slide down, like the more you go down the pole, the wider it gets, right? It starts off, with the tip, and then it expands, it's expanding, and I can feel it like filling me up on the inside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm aware that there's more to come that I cannot take in, I cannot handle. And then I kid you not, I was jolted back to reality because he just grabbed my hips and he shoved my waist downward, just like my blanket just fell here. All right, let me grab my blanket. He shoved my waist downward, And it was so unbearable because you can imagine at that point, I mean, he's inside my freaking cervix, My cervix is opened up. He's inside my stomach, okay? And I was jolted back to reality. When I mean reality, I woke up. This was a dream I had, last night. And I'm like in the middle of the night, I'm waking up from this dream because I'm jolted back to reality. And I'm like sad. And, almost in tears, number one, because I'm like, in my body, I kind of felt it. It's amazing, how the mind works. But like, I felt like this was so real. And I felt like I was coming out of this sexual experience that was very painful and unbearable. And I felt a bit of relief. Like I was sad, like, wow, it hurt. I'm in pain. But I'm happy because like, this is all a dream and I woke up from it. And even though it was very sensual, like I enjoyed the way he held me so firmly. And I enjoyed feeling our bodies become one. The warmth of his physique, his muscles, the way he embraced me. I love that. It felt so heavenly and righteous, right? But yeah, going down that pole to the point where like my lights were out, and I woke up and I just remember lying in bed in like disbelief and relief at the same time, y'all. Like I didn't know what to feel. I'm just like, what the hell what just happened here? What the hell just happened? But that is not the first time, that I've actually had sex in a dream. And one may say, like, how is that even possible? I dream about so many different things. I'm amazed just at my imagination and the way my mind works, But that is definitely not the first time I had, like, sex in a dream. I've had sex with my crush, my favorite crush, in a dream as well. Like, not quite, though. It was just, like, barely because he was too big. I talked about this before. But he was just too big. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit more here in this video, how there is a conception that the bigger the better. And women, obviously, like, this promoted like in the media, in videos, music videos. Oftentimes you may hear in some feminine circles where women are talking about how, they don't want, the little dick energy. They don't want the little pencil dicks. I myself have talked about that, have admitted to that, right? But in the same breath, we do not also want some immeasurable, freaking oversized anaconda. It's it's unbearable. It's painful. Like it just won't happen. And I recall another reality that's very much real. Well, I guess all reality can be considered real, right? To a certain degree. But I recall there's another reality was, yeah, oh my gosh. And I actually made, I think, an audio vlog to this experience entitled, He Beat Me Into Submission. And I know, like, for you guys who follow me, sometimes the lines can be blurred, right? The lines of fiction versus reality, you don't know where fiction begins or ends, right? And I make it that way on purpose. I am a storyteller. So understand that first and foremost about me, right? Yes, I am a sexual being. Yes, I am sex positive, which someone actually posed a question, what is sex positive? I'm like, you don't know what that is? You're too young to be on this page, right? Because that's basically a phrase that has been popularized amongst mature adult people, especially, there it goes again, especially in, I would say, the BDSM community, even the LGBT, which I kind of categorize under BDSM, right? BDSM in my eyes is like the umbrella for all alternative sexual lifestyles. But it's just that, it's people who embrace their sexuality, without judgment, without self-criticism. Like, we take ownership for what is, and we're not ashamed of it in any space, right? Whether it is, on a platform such as this, whether it is on a panel in public, whether it is on the bus, not that we have to go out and carry flags and advertise and blurt out, our sexuality. It's not to that extent, but it's just like we own who we are. Your sexuality is a reflection of who you are, and there's no need to feel ashamed about that. It's to shame you. So is you affirming who you are, what you like, unapologetically. And tell the rest people who don't like it, they can just suck it and kiss your ass, because that's just the reality of it. So yeah, in that audio vlog, I was being open about this experience that I had with a dominant man. Like, oh my gosh. And I wish, like, part of me feels like, damn, that could have materialized into something very amazing. However, I am so sensitive to energy that I very quickly often shut men out of my life, and I shut shit down that could be potentially, right? It's just, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't soothe me. Like, if something within my spirit, like, tells me, like, I listen to spirit. That's just me. But this person, like, he was a good character. He was a sweet gentleman. He himself was also tall, like 6'2", 6'3", caramel complexion, and this is in New York, right? Well, this is technically, it was like New Jersey City, which is basically 10 minutes outside of Lower Manhattan. And I was staying there when I was one of the places I was staying when I moved in 2020, the top of the pandemic. And oh my gosh, I don't think I'm going to go into detail about that here. You guys just have to go and listen to that video, but it is entitled "He Beat Me into Submission," and it was a wonderful, amazing experience. But I have to relate to this topic here is that he was like, I think it's shocking for women, like especially myself, to come across men who are super endowed, right? Like you have well endowed, then you have like super endowed. It's just like it's unbelievable. You ain't getting no fucking ass with no dick size that big. You just not. There's no way. I know he has difficulty getting sex from women. I know he does, right? Because I know that shit didn't happen between us. Like he tried, but I'm just like, yo, this shit is it's not working. You're not gonna rip up my insides. This is medically unsafe, okay? It's not even that, okay, he's medically incompatible, right? You're just too big. The shit was like so thick and long, yo. And he tried, this is after the spanking. Oh my gosh, this is after the spanking. But it's like he tried to meet his manhood with my flower, right? And there was a union there that took place, but it didn't go any further than that. I had to press pause. I had to stop it because I knew that if I allowed that to continue, and he fully inserted himself, like it was not going to be enjoyable. Like he would have probably got some pleasure from it, but if the tip, right, like if a man is starting the tip and you feel the girth of just the tip of it, there is no way you're going to insert no freaking 9, 10, 12 inches. It's just not happening. What was his size? I would say he was about, I pull out the tape measure, right? I would say he was probably about 8.5, 9. He was like this, yo. I kid you not. He was like about this. That's big, yo. I don't care what nobody say. People say that's average. That is not fucking average, yo. This is on hard, fully erect. The girth was just all around thickness, okay? No fucking way. And for me, I mean, I know I picked up some pounds, right? And on camera, I may appear to be thick, and I take pride in my thickness in some areas, right? But naturally, I'm a small frame woman. Now, if you go back and look at pictures of me when I was in college, and let's say about 10 years ago, I was much smaller, yo. I'm a small frame, thin woman. Ain't no way no freaking 9, 10 inches is coming up in here. Okay, it's just not happening, yo. Like I know I have a small cervix, I know it's tight, it's very fitted, right? Close knitted in my feminine area down there. So like I feel like that's my job to protect that, and then for women watching this, it's just like, yo, that's your job to protect yours too. You got some women, they don't care, they just hand it over and let whatever happens to their beautiful flower. And it's just like, how can you do that to your garden? And men go in and they just are savage with it. And your walls are all torn apart and loose and flabby, and no, my shit is intact, okay? Like I love the way my flower looks. I love the fact that I protect it. I don't, even though I do masturbate, but I don't insert anything into my vagina. My masturbation is just self-stimulation with a vibrator at times, not even frequently, because I just think that that's a very sensitive, sacred space down there. And it's not something that I want tampered with too much. I don't want to destroy it. Like, life is going to come out of my vagina, right? Hopefully someday. So of course I don't, I'm very careful with that. And this whole idea that a woman or women, we prefer anacondas and we're going for the anaconda sized penis. It's just like that is definitely a myth. And the painful reality is that men who have the anacondas, I know, aren't having the optimum sexual experience that they would like. I know they run into problems, right? Because I've run into men with anacondas in my waking hours in real life and in alternate realities when I'm sleeping. And it ain't going down. Now, women, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if you tolerate it, because there could be women that do tolerate it. Some of y'all who watch my videos come from this porn reality, right? And you watch excessive amounts of porn and you think that that's real. And I just saw a comment someone made on my, in response to another comment that was made in my video, where this person tells this man, like, yo, get off the freaking computer, okay? Because you can tell people that live on the computer, right? And you can tell people that obviously live in this porn reality and they think that that's real. It's not. This is acting. What you see happening in those videos and porn videos, that's not, you can't translate that to, okay, this is what women are accepting of, and this is what takes place in real relationships. Whether, whether intimate or whether, short-term hookups, or long-term, it's not happening like that. You have these very super well-endowed men bursting through the seams of women with very tight vaginas in these videos, and they're taking in all of their flesh. They're taking in every bit of 10, 12 inches of this person's manhood into their vagina, and even into their mouth, deep throating it, or even in their anus. And it's just like, no, that is not going down that often. Not to say it's impossible in real life, because, shit happens. And of course, I'm sure it's happening, but it's not common. That's not happening in like everyday life. I've come across and I've heard women that say, like, they have rejected men with anacondas. Like, they push them out and it doesn't work. And listen, if you run into complications like that, do you think that that's something that is workable, that you can work around that? Absolutely no. Like, we can do a survey right here. All right, if you're watching this and you feel free to share. The woman who has encountered a man that's super endowed, right? You obviously run into complications down there. Like, what did you do? Did you try to be flexible with it? Did you try to accommodate? Did you use, like, what did you do? Because I can't imagine myself trying to make any accommodations. Like, for me, it's a no. Sorry, but it's not working. It's not meant to be. That's how I take it. It's not meant to be, right? It's just too big, and you only can imagine, like, the damage that can be caused. Like, we're talking about medically, right? This is beyond sex. At this point, the things that could be moved around internally because he's carried away. And yes, one may say that even through childbirth, as a baby is coming through the birth canal, the woman's body, obviously adjusts, to this life passing through. And we're talking about the circumference of a baby's head is how many centimeters? Inches, right? It's bigger when you think of it. It's bigger than the girth of these freaking anacondas. The size of a baby's head, right? But I feel like even with the process of childbirth, like her body has time to prepare. Her cervix is going through these contractions and dilations where that is a whole process. Hormones are being released to accommodate this passage of this human being coming through, something that doesn't happen on an everyday basis, and then, obviously the shoulders are much wider than the head of the baby or whatever, as it's coming through. So yes, one may try to make that comparison that, okay, if a baby can pass through, yes, a 10, 12-inch penis with the girth of a size of a freaking thick-ass pickle could and be inserted, right, the other way. But me, I ain't no baby has ever passed through my womb, okay? I do want to someday, but that has never happened to me. So my shit is tight down there, okay? My cervix ain't open. And, yes, with, I think, regular, consistent sex, right, a woman's walls become more malleable, to the penis and begins to adapt. But I feel like, who want to be opened up that wide like that? Like, not me. That's just my take on that. You guys feel free to share your comments below. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, when I experienced that in the alternate reality, I'm like, what I felt when I woke up, like I said, I didn't know what to feel. I felt relieved, but at the same time, I'm like kind of sad, and I'm like kind of like panting a little bit, because I'm like, what just happened? Thrust himself. First it was like slow, and then it was just like this hard thrust, like to the point where I enveloped his manhood. It was completely inside of me, and I was just jolted back to reality from that. Amazing, right? Anyway, I'm going to end this video. You guys feel free to share this video. Drop your comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Oh, my skin is just, it's glowing, yo. That's because I drink lots and lots of water. People ask me, what do I do for my skin? Just drink water. Block out the negativity. I do that very readily and easily. And I don't drink sodas. I don't drink coffee. There's this culture of coffee drinkers here in America, and even, internationally, but I'm not part of that culture. I did think it was cool when I was younger, before I was of age to drink coffee, to try to ask my mom and dad, can I have some coffee? And they would tell me, no, it's going to stunt your growth. They would deny me access to coffee, even though they drank it every single day, every morning. But yeah, I don't partake in that. I don't smoke, don't do any drugs. I try my best to eat healthy and stay active. So all of that helps. And on top of that, having great genes, So there you have it. But I'll catch you guys later. Happy Sunday. That is my sermon for today, okay? Peace. Anaconda.